I'm Shimelle, and I'm here with this week's Sketch to Scrapbook page. And here's where I'm starting this week. I'm using two landscape 4x6 photos, but instead of doing nice even blocks, which I tend to do with the two pictures, I'm going to overlap them on an angle in the center of the page. And then I'm going to have two large blocks of pattern paper and two sets of embellishments, one a little bigger than the other. And I've notated them here on this little rough draft with some stars, but obviously they can be anything, and in fact they're not going to be stars in my layout. So I'll show you what I started with. I'm going to use some papers from this background sheet from Jenny Bolden, and this American Crafts Peachy Keen Floral, and then this one, which is also American Crafts, but this is just, I only have this little bit left of that sheet. That's a pink chevron. So those are going to make up the patterns. Then I've printed two cameras. There's one large one and one small one as the same design, and I've just printed it in two different sizes. And these are by Little Musings. They come in a kit with all sorts of different cameras. There's a Polaroid and a DLR, like an old-fashioned camera, and I don't know what else is in there. Oh, and a Diana, and then this Olympus strip. So there's all different kinds of cameras, and in the pack you get the colored-in version, and you get just a plain line drawing as well if you want to color it in yourself. So like if you like the colored pencils or watercolors or markers, you can do that. And you get all of those images all together in one kit, and you download it, and then you can print it at whatever size. So I've printed the same camera in a big size and a small size, so that I'll be able to use it in the big embellishment cluster and the small embellishment cluster, and I'm hoping that will work out just right. And the glory of this is that, of course, if it doesn't work out quite right, I can just print it again, which is handy. Okay, and then I've also got one of these foldy flower die cuts from Sassafras. And I've pulled out a couple sticker booklets. This one that I just keep using lots and lots, which is the, this is from Peachy Keen. And I have more empty pages in here than before. But there's a few that might work, and I really like these colors. They're quite muted, and they go well with the coordinating paper, of course. And then this is the new Amy Tangerine Accents book, and I've actually pulled this out in particular for one sticker, and that's this little hot pink camera, because I'm thinking with the hot pink of this pattern paper that the hot pink camera might offset the two cameras that I printed on Craft. That's an idea. I'm not sure if that will happen or not, but that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm thinking. And then these new thickers that are also from Amy Tangerine, and they're kind of, they're gray and white. Kind of cool. Okay, so that's where I'm starting, and then I have two 4x6 photos, and these are not amazing pictures, but they're happy pictures. These are some of the prints from the vintage cameras that we put on the tables at our wedding, and I just have this big stack of things, and they're not all amazing photos. Some of them are blurry, a lot of them are underexposed, some of them are double exposures and stuff like that, but that was what I kind of wanted to get from all the vintage cameras. The reason I'm going to use this sketch with these pictures is because the two photos are going to overlap. Well, there's this big kind of blur on this photo. I'm not sure if that's somebody's finger over the lens or just some lens flare coming off the side, but whatever it is, it's kind of distracting from the rest of the picture. So I'm going to arrange these two so that bit's covered up, and then you and I can keep that secret that's underneath there. Nobody else will know. Just you know, everybody that watches the video and me. Okay, fair deal. Right, so I will walk you through this layout using this sketch. Okay, I'm going to use the ledger paper as the background, and I'm going to cut the floral to be this bottom box here. So I'm just going to cut a strip about 4 inches wide across the bottom, and then I'm just going to trim a little bit off of it so that it won't go quite to the edge of the background paper. And in fact, I think I'm going to cut that just a tiny bit more. There we go. Now I'm going to ink the edge of this with brown ink, but I also want to soften the edge of this box with some paint, which is something that I know I'm doing on quite a few layouts recently. But what I'd like to do is use the paint kind of to bring together the two different paper collections. So these two blues are quite different shades, but I like them together. But if I put the cream paint around this edge, like the cream that's in this pattern paper, and there's a tiny bit of cream in the ledger, then that will bring that all together. I'm just going to use the paint dabber in malted milk for this box, and I just thought I'd show you the trick that I use to try and get it to look more like it came from a paintbrush. So if you do a straight line with the paint dabber, you get this rounded edge at the side, which makes it obvious that it's from that round tip. So what I do is go ahead and get the paint the whole line across. And then when I get to the end of the line, instead of just stopping, which makes that circle, I just brush it off and pick up the paint dabber, and then it looks more like brush strokes at the end. So once the paint was dry, then the next thing in the sketch is to add the two blocks of pattern paper. So this tall box goes underneath, and then the horizontal box over the top of that. And then I need to figure out where I want the photos to be placed. So I'm angling them so they go across the page, but not in that straight 6x6, so that they'll fit inside this box. And I'm just going to angle so that I'm covering up that part of the photo. Okay, with the photos down, then I'm ready to start working on the embellishment. And for that, I'm using these printed cameras, and I've printed them on craft cardstock, and I'm cutting them out with scissors. Now, you can print them on any color of cardstock that you want, so you can print them on white or gray or cream or whatever you'd like. And you can also print them on pattern paper, of course, and one look that works really nicely is to take the outline design and print it on several different pattern papers, and then you can piece the camera back together with all different pattern papers, which is quite cute. But today I've just printed them on craft, and then I'll give it a little bit of ink around the edges. So I have two sizes, one that's going to be quite a large embellishment down here, and one that will be up at the top of the page. It's just a little camera. And, right, I'm going to figure out where I want these, and what I wanted to do was combine the camera with the flowers and then my title. And on the sketch the title's to the right, but I think in this particular example my title's going to end up on this left hand side. I've decided I'm going to put the camera on the bottom layer, and I've actually tucked it underneath that photo just a little bit. And then with the foldy, what I do is add regular adhesive to all but one segment, and the one that's on, that folds up the most because it's above both sides. And then that one I put up on foam squares so that it keeps a bit of the dimension. And then I'm just going to go back and fill in this gap without blocking the people in the picture. So I've covered up some wine glasses in a coffee pot, but that's okay. I don't mind that too much. And then sometimes what I find with the foldies is that they actually can work a little better at a different angle. So I'm going to take this piece and I'm actually going to take it apart. And then what I just do is take the tab that would have held those two together and fold it under. And then this way I can come over to here and make this piece go out to the side a little bit more. It's not a huge difference, but then it kind of carries this line, just it's not quite as extreme because this foldy die cut was kind of a corner piece, and I'd rather it be a little bit of a line. So just easy to edit them and move them around. And then I'm going to add my title here, and I'm going to come back and add some more detail to this embellishment with some stickers. So there's the title all finished, and I used the thickers that I started out with, and then I also added some small letters from the My Little Shoebox mini letter stickers. And then I'm going to try and find a few little bits to add to the embellishment here and some embellishment here, and then I'm going to do my journaling here on the lines. But I wanted to note that you could do your journaling on this segment, so you could use a lined paper here if that would help you put your journaling in this box here. I'm going to go ahead and write it in this space so that it's a bit further along the page. So I've added most of the embellishment now, and I just want to show you what I ended up doing was to try and connect the two areas. So I started with a piece of sassafras paper that matched the foldy. This isn't actually a foldy, I just cut it from a piece of pattern paper from the same collection. So it's the flower that was just there. So that just brings that color together and makes those two things go together. And then repeated the label stickers, repeated the camera, and there's only one of these camera stickers in the American Crafts book, but there's this heart sticker that's the same color, so that brings the color together. And then I used the asterisk from the thickers font to bring that together as well. So just lots of repetition of similar but not quite exactly the same elements. And then I'm going to add a little bit of stamping down here. And this is a stamp from this set here. And it's this one, it has all you need is love and then a line where you fill in what you want to write. And the trick with this set, with this particular stamp, is the letters are quite small and the dots are very fine. So you don't want to press hard at all. You're just barely tapping it on the page. You don't really need any pressure. And I'm going to put that down here. Now, and I know stamping on a page that's almost done is a little worrying, and I will tell you my secret is that if this doesn't work right, I'm just going to cover it up with another layer, and we will keep it quiet that I messed up the stamping the first time. So don't be afraid, just know you can always cover it up. And there we go. And it's mostly okay. I've kind of missed a little bit of the A there, but I think it'll work out all right. I could go back and I'll probably try and fix it without the camera on for a little bit less pressure. And what I'll do is I'll take the ink off every other part of the stamp and just leave it on the A, and then very slowly and with my eyes right there on top of it, line it up and let it stamp it right in the same place. Okay, the good news is I fixed the A, and that worked out fine. The bad news is then I went to fill in the line with a pink pen, thinking that would help with the color scheme, and the pen was too fat, and so it ended up, I couldn't fit everything I wanted to say on there. So here we go. Even though I got the stamping right, I'm going to add another layer. So I added some pink washi tape over the top, and then re-stamped the black line and wrote it again. So I just cover up where it went a bit wrong. And then to make that match, I'm taking another little bit of the washi tape and I'm going to put that up here. And that way, because I've used it twice, it's a little bit more like it was part of the plan from the beginning. So I'm going to add my journaling in here. I'm going to add the date here. And then I think that will probably be everything done. Okay, so there's the finished page. Journaling's added, dates added, and everything's as I'm gonna call it done. And here's the sketch again. And this week's sketch is a little different than normal because since it's part of our week of challenges, this week if you participate in the sketch, one person will win a prize pack from Little Musings with all sorts of different things that you can print out and use on your scrapbook pages and cards. So I hope you'll check out the challenge at Shimelle.com and also pop over to Little Musings to see all the different designs that she has drawn for you. Thanks for watching!